So you mentioned that at MoneyGram you worked on bridging, let's say, the gap between the traditional finance and the blockchain. How do you see the blockchain exactly and specifically transforming cross-border payments? I mean, for underbanked populations, for like how do you fit at Algorand Foundation with this vision, and how do you support this matter in specific?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question, Solange. When it comes to, if you look at most of the world, right, it's actually really interesting because the underbanked and unbanked, while it's growingly smaller, there's still a significant part of the population that cannot either participate in a traditional financial,
And they don't
system,
have access to it.
and they don't have access to it.
Yeah,
right?
like yesterday I was hosting one of my guests. He was telling me like there's a specific percentage, and which is very big relevantly. They don't have still bank accounts.
Yeah, and they don't have bank accounts, and this is the other thing that I think people don't realize when you live in like either a Western world or a developed economy like we are here, where you actually don't even, it's not just the bank accounts, but even if you did have a bank account, you don't have access to investments, right? You don't have a way to even grow your wealth. Forget holding your wealth. Now, if you did hold your wealth somewhere, you can actually grow your wealth, and I think that's really where blockchains as a whole, and more interestingly, digital assets that work on blockchains, are able to easily make it borderless from that perspective and reduce the actual friction of allowing somebody to actually be able to participate in a financial system of some sorts. I think, quite often when people think about like digital ledgers or blockchains or crypto in general, there's still a certain amount of negative connotation that people can attribute to that. And I think that's more so from the past, but if you really look at how well the systems of today, and like if you take partners of ours like Coinbase, or partners of ours like that are doing some really amazing stuff that are in the blockchain space, they're doing it in a well-regulated way, right? So it's not some Wild West thing. It is providing customers across the globe access to digital assets that are borderless, and still making it to where they are AML KYC'd, we know who they are, they know who they are, and it's well regulated from that perspective. So from that perspective, it's applying the same regulations as a bank would, without the restrictions of the borders or something like that from that perspective.
How do you access markets having conflict, like we call them conflict zones, countries where war is happening and it's a bit chaotic? How do you cope with this market? How do you access it?
This is actually a fantastic question because I have two great examples for you. I'm going to start from Algorand. I'm going to move backwards. Okay. So Algorand, one of the key partners and one of the key wallets that actually operates in the Algorand ecosystem is this wallet called Hisab Pay. HESAB Pay, right? And why we absolutely love them.
Hisab in Arabic called my account.
Perfect.
Similar to my account.
So that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's perfect. And one of the things that they do is they have actually developed an amazing financial instrument that operates on blockchain using a local stable coin, and it actually in Afghanistan, right? So in Afghanistan, where things are still tough, and so even in places like that, they're able to provide locals with a very easy way to accept funds from like organizations like the UNDP, accept funds, be able to like operate it, and then be able to pay local store owners, etc., for goods and services, and even do bill payments. Like, so you have people receiving funds from the UN into their Hisab Pay wallet, being able to go either pick up cash or pay for something that's an actual physical good, or paying for actual like electricity and things, right? And so that really wouldn't be possible without.
Is there any limit in specific when it comes to amounts, like moving them and dealing with this specific amount?
I think
receiving, paying.
The limits are rarely ever on the on-chain side, so it's not within the blockchain ecosystem, right?
Okay.
The limits usually come on the on and off ramp side, and depending on the on and off ramp that particular person chooses to do, there are certain limits, right, from that perspective. There is actually a very similar program that also happens that I was lucky to be part of on the Stellar MoneyGram side as well, right? And so there was an amazing work that was done with the Ukrainian refugees during when that war broke out, where the UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, was able to distribute funds to an actual wallet in USDC, same kind of asset, right? And then people were able to, like, first of all, not have to worry about carrying something of value with you. Like, because some of these people are still in transit, right? So they were leaving Ukraine, they're probably going to go to Romania, they're probably going to still go on further out, and they didn't have to worry about things getting stolen from them, right? They didn't have to, because this wasn't a physical thing, this was something that was sitting on their phone, and they, were able to easily control that. And then because of the way that the on and off ramps were set up, in that case, it was MoneyGram, they could go to any MoneyGram location and be able to pick up cash, right? So both these examples make it a really obvious tool of choice for aid organizations, because this is actually what a lot of people don't know, is that in order to make funds, like actual cash, available, the process is actually pretty antiquated, right? So when aid organizations try to do that, they literally will get pallets of cash from a bank. They put it on a plane with armed guard, and
it's hard to move it.
Yeah, and it's actually literal cash that they move with armed guard and everything, right? So think about the amount of manpower, the amount of logistics, the planning that goes into all that, quickly replaced by the fact that now you can do it with just like USDC and a digital asset, right? And it's very simple. And the real trick there is the availability of the off-ramps. As long as there's good off-ramps for those recipients of aid, then really, like, everything works really seamlessly.